Now, we are closely watching this monitor on the bottom of your screen, folks. These protests have been happening in Istanbul for a couple of days now, and it's not allowed, basically, to have these gatherings, even though we are in a period of a lot of night speeches and election season, and it all relates to President Erdogan. So it was a little calmer a little earlier as the protesters and those police were there on a bit of a standoff. But just in the past couple of moments, things have escalated quite dramatically, although it's calmed down again. So it's almost like they're flaring up and then going back down again. But a little earlier, Alex Crawford was there.
There is still quite a lot of security here, a lot of police. All those vans behind are police vans, and there's quite a few water cannons out here just in preparation for any potential trouble. We've counted nearly a dozen or so water cannons. The police are actually blocking all the routes to Taksim Square and even the roads. This aqueduct is the area. Sorry, do you mind if I just squeeze in? Which is where some of the even more water cannon are positioned to block the route to Taksim Square. And you could probably see banks and banks of police over that side also trying to block routes, just trying to contain the number of protesters who have gathered in this area, in one area, which is just outside the City Hall. There's far, far fewer people here tonight than there have been last night and the previous nights, which have seen many, many thousands turned out. I still think there are several thousand here, but a lot thinner. And that could have something to do with the warnings from the Interior Minister and the President himself, President Erdogan. I'm not sure what that was, but they have been firing off fireworks. It's all been very calm so far, and this is the pattern, that it only picks up later on in the evening. But today we've had the Interior Ministry talking about over 1,000 arrests in total made, including some journalists detained, and lots of condemnation from President Erdogan himself and the Interior Ministry, saying that people should not be using these gatherings, which are effectively banned anyway, to stoke further trouble and chaos, as the president has said. And he's blamed the opposition for not doing enough to fight what he says are legitimate charges. Of course, that's completely denied by not just the Istanbul mayor and the people who've been arrested, his party, but all these people here who still believe that there is very much an erosion of democracy in Turkey, and they keep on saying that they're going to turn out, but the numbers tonight are heavily reduced.
Let's just bring up this shot again, just to satisfy my curiosity that this particular moment has calmed down. Because as Alex Crawford just mentioned there, they do tend to burr up later in the evening, and it's getting closer to midnight now, which, and this picture would certainly back up what she was saying. So again, these are protests that are taking place between protesters and the riot police there in Istanbul. Yeah, we'll just keep watching that, folks, just letting you know that this is happening now.